Today we're going to be covering lesson 2.5 on similar figures. So far in this chapter, we've talked a lot about congruent figures. So remember that congruent figures have the same size and the same shape. But similar figures are slightly different. So similar figures have the same exact shape, but they're not necessarily the same size. So here you can see that triangle A, B, and C is similar to triangle D, E, and F. So they have the same shape, but one is larger than the other. So when two shapes or figures are similar, their corresponding side lengths are proportional and their corresponding angles are congruent. So here see that the angles have stayed the same. They are still congruent or equal, but the side lengths are now proportional. So each side is growing by the same factor each time. So let's take a look at a few examples. So here it says rectangle D is 3 units long and 1 unit wide. Which rectangle above is similar to rectangle D? I find it helpful to first draw a picture or a sketch so that way I can understand what I'm really asking myself. So if my rectangle is 3 units long and 1 unit wide, I know that my width to length ratio is 1 to 3. 1 unit of width for every 3 units of length. Now remember, from the first slide, they have to be proportional, which means they have to be equivalent fractions. So if I compare my width to my length of the 3 triangles or the 3 rectangles given to me, let's see what happens. So the width to the length. We know that 3 out of 6 is 1/2. We also should know that 1/2 and 1/3 are not equal. Therefore, it can't be rectangle A. For rectangle B, we have 2 to 6. Each of these can be divisible by 2 to get 1/3. 1/3 is equal to 1/3, so rectangle B is likely the correct answer. Well, let's go ahead and take a look at rectangle C just to confirm. So rectangle C is 2 over 4, 2 units of width for 4 units of length. Again, we can reduce 2/4 to be 1/2. So when we're comparing to rectangle D 1/3, we know that rectangle B is similar. On these next examples, it's telling us the figures are similar. We already know that. It's telling us that in the directions. So knowing that they are similar, find the missing side length. So we can do this by setting up a proportion. So the base of this triangle is x to a side of 6. We want to compare that to the base and the side. So 6 to 9. It's important that you have the same sides or corresponding sides matched up. So see here, I have this piece on the right on the top. I have this piece on the bottom here on the bottom. So now I can use the cross products or butterfly method to solve. 9 times x is 9x, and 6 times 6 is 36. Now we can use our rules for solving equations to solve for the missing variable. 9x divided by 9 and 36 divided by 9, we should know that x equals 4 feet. So the missing side length here is 4 feet. Now go ahead and try number 3 on your own. Now I've set up my proportion and kind of marked out my cross products here. You may have set up your proportions slightly different, and that's okay as long as you have the corresponding sides in the correct positions to be matched up with each other, you can have your proportions set up different ways. So here I have 7 times x is 7x, and 14 times 12 is 168. Now I must divide both sides by 7 to end up with my answer of 24 centimeters. Now, we can use our best judgment to see if our answer is reasonable. 12 is half of 24. 7 is half of 14, so this answer would be reasonable. We are going to use the same method as the last two problems in this problem here. So it says an artist draws a replica of a painting that is on the Berlin Wall. The painting includes a red trapezoid. The shorter base of the similar trapezoid in the replica is 3.75 inches. What is the height of the trapezoid in the replica? Go ahead and set this one up and try to solve now. As you can see here, I set my proportion up. 12 is to 15 as h is to 3.75. I've used my cross products property. 15h is equal to 12 times 3.75, which is 45. Dividing by 15 on both sides to solve for my variable of h to end up with an answer of 3 inches. So the replica height would be 3 inches. Again, there's many different ways that you could set up your proportion and still get the right answer as long as you have the corresponding sides matched up.